Welcome to part 2 of the hire purchase system of accounting. Well, in the previous lecture, you all must have understood about the accounting entries in the books of hire purchaser with two methods, that is asset accrual method and credit purchase method. Today, we are going to learn about the ledger posting in the books of hire purchaser and also the accounting entries in the books of hire vendor. So, let us start with me. I, Dr. Aarti Mudliar, Department of Commerce, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. So, let us begin with the accounting entries in the books of hire purchaser, which you have studied in the previous video. We are going to look about the ledger posting of the same in this particular video. So, let us begin. Well, the necessary accounts to be maintained in the books of hire purchaser are number 1, the asset account. Well, every person or every organization needs to keep their books of accounts, and the most important thing is to maintain their assets and keep their records. No matter these assets have been purchased on hire purchase system or credit purchase system, they have to be recorded in the books of accounts to get a complete idea of the asset. Therefore, the very first account to be maintained is the asset account. The second account to be maintained is the hire vendors account. Now, let me tell you that in the books of hire purchaser, hire vendor is a creditor, a liability. So, accordingly, his account is to be maintained to check that how much of amount of installment is to be paid to him and how much of balance each year is to be shown in the balance sheet in the liability side against the hire vendor's outstanding amount. The next account which is to be maintained is the interest account. Well, students, you all know that the hire purchase price is paid by the purchaser to the vendor in installments along with the interest, which is an expense for the purchaser. So, every year he has to record this interest in his books of accounts and transfer it into profit and loss account. And the last account which is to be maintained regarding this particular hire purchase system is the depreciation, because the purchaser is using the asset and therefore depreciation would be charged on this fixed asset. So, these are the main 4 accounts which are to be maintained by the hire purchaser. Let us start with the asset account. Now, how to maintain an asset account under asset accrual method? While explaining you this particular method, I had told you that the purchaser would record the asset only with the amount which he has paid against the cash price to the vendor. That is, the asset accrues only with the partial amount paid against the cash payment. Therefore, the very first entry to be recorded in the asset account is in the debit side, with the down payment, if any, paid by the purchaser to the vendor. So, in the debit side, this particular entry of down payment is recorded as to bank. Now, always remember that this down payment never ever includes interest, and all the amounts which are to be recorded in the books of accounts, especially in the asset account, will never include interest. Asset account will always be recorded with the cash price paid in installments. Alright. So, now usually at the time of agreement, may be given as the beginning of the year, this entry would be passed on the date of agreement as to bank, the payment made against the asset, that was asset account debited to bank. So, it is the simple posting of this particular journal entry. Now, the year end would come, and by that time the installment would become due, and at that point of time again the entry passed in the books of purchaser was asset account debited, interest account debited to hire vendor. Now, this is the amount of cash price included in the first installment, which became due at the end of the year. So, at the end of the year, you need to pass the entry in the debit side again as to hire vendor only with the cash price included in the first installment. Remember, only with the cash price included in the first installment, not the total hire purchase price of that particular installment. As soon as this amount has become due and has been recorded in the debit side as to hire vendor, you need to record depreciation, because at the end of the year the depreciation is charged on asset. Now, again a catch. This depreciation will always be calculated on the entire cash price of the asset, the total aggregate cash price of the asset, not the part which the purchaser has paid till date. Alright. So, depreciation is shown as a decrease in the asset, therefore, it will be recorded in the credit side of the asset as by depreciation. So, now simply at the end of the year you need to find out the balance of the asset account, which will be recorded in the credit side as by balance carried down and will be carried forward to the next year as to balance brought down to the debit side of the asset account. Now onwards, that is in the subsequent year, the second year onwards, only the installments cash price is to be recorded in the debit side of the asset account with the name of to vendors account. So, every time in each installment, whatever amount of cash price is included, with that amount you have to record in the debit side of the asset account as to hire vendor. And each year, since the depreciation is charged, maybe with the straight line method or with the WDV method or the reducing balance method, you need to charge it in the credit side of the asset account as by depreciation. So, that also is one of the entry to be passed in the asset account. So, now onwards each year just debit the asset account with hire vendor and credit the asset account with depreciation and keep finding the balance till the last installment is made. Remember, this account will not get closed until the depreciation has been charged on the amount of asset and the value of the asset has been utilized till the end. That is, the asset value becomes 0. If WDV method has been adopted, then the asset value will not become 0 ever. So, with the closing balance of this asset, that is the balance carry down, the amount will be shown in the asset side of the balance sheet. I hope this is clear how the asset account is to be prepared under asset accrual method. Now, since asset accrual method has been followed, there will be a slight change in the hire vendors account as well. So, let us understand about how to prepare hire vendors account under this method. Now, under asset accrual method, the very first time hire vendor comes into existence was at the time of the installment becoming due, that is at the end of the first year. Yes, so the vendor is a creditor for the purchaser, therefore his account would start from the credit side. Alright, so at the end of the year when the installment becomes due, you need to write to the credit side of the vendor account as by asset account and by interest account. Now, asset account is to be credited with the cash price included in the installment and the interest is to be credited with the amount of interest calculated on the outstanding balance of the cash price. Don't worry, we will be learning about the calculation of this cash price and installment very soon. Now, once you have recorded the total amount of installment as by asset and by interest in the credit side, the installment becomes due to the vendor. That is, the liability gets increased in the credit side. Now, this amount has to be paid to the vendor. So, come to the debit side and record the installment amount as to bank. I hope this is clear to everyone. Now, after this installment has been paid to the vendor, the account would automatically get closed for that particular year. So, every year you simply need to record the vendor's account in the credit side with the installment amount divided in two parts, that is cash price as by asset and interest simply as by interest. And the entire amount will be paid to the hire vendor as to bank in the debit side. So, no balance remains in this particular account under asset accrual method in the hire vendor's account. Every year it gets accrued or the liability occurs and immediately it is paid to the hire vendor. So, simply as many entries are there, that many year you have to open and simply pass the entries. Now, we will learn the ledger posting, that is the asset account to be prepared under credit purchase method, right. So, this method is pretty simpler as compared to the asset accrual method, and the ledger posting also is very easy to understand. Under asset accrual method, you were debiting asset account with part payment you were making against the cash price included in each installment. That is, the asset account was getting debited in certain fragments. This won't happen in this particular method. Why? Because in the very first entry, the purchaser records asset account with the entire cash price in aggregate and credits the hire vendor in the very beginning. So therefore, under this method, the asset account is debited on the date of agreement itself, that is on the date of purchase, as to hire vendor with the entire cash price. Now, as and when the amount is being paid, this particular payment is not going to affect our asset account. All right. Every time the installment has been paid, hire vendor gets debited and asset account does not get affected because of payment or installment becoming due. So there will be just one entry of hire vendor in the very beginning of the year or at the date of purchase or the agreement, and then every year you simply need to charge depreciation as you did in the previous method as well by writing in the credit side as by depreciation. You will find the balance in the account. The balance will be carried down in the credit side and will be brought down to the debit side as the opening balance for the next year, and the same process would continue in the subsequent years. As I told you, that asset account is very easy to understand under credit purchase method. Now let us understand the hire vendors account under credit purchase method as well. Well, hire vendors account is also slightly different in this particular case. Why? Because the hire vendor was credited with the entire amount of cash price in the very beginning with the very first entry, which was asset account debited to hire vendor. So you are crediting, you are making him a liability with the full amount of the cash price of that particular asset. Hence, the hire vendor will be credited with the entire cash price and would be recorded as by asset in the credit side. All right. Now, if the down payment has been made on the very same day, then the part payment, that is the down payment or the cash down payment made, will be recorded in the debit side as to bank. This down payment does not include any interest, mind you, because it is made on the same day. The amount has been paid on the same day, therefore no interest arises on that particular amount. But 1 year after, that is the end of the year, when the interest becomes due, you need to charge this interest in the hire vendor's account, because your liability would get increased towards the hire vendor, to whom the interest amount is to be paid along with the cash price in the first installment. So the entry to be passed for the installment becoming due is simply interest account debited to hire vendor. Therefore, hire vendor's account will be credited as by interest with the amount of interest included in the first installment. Now, on the same day, the hire vendor would be paid the first installment, which will include the part of cash price and the interest, which will be recorded in the debit side as to bank. In this method, the hire vendor account will not get closed because you have already credited it with the entire cash price, which is yet to be paid. So the outstanding amount will be recorded, or the balance would be recorded in the debit side as to balance carried down and will be carried forward to the next year as by balance brought down. Why? Because you have already created a liability with the entire amount in the very beginning of the year. Now henceforth, as and when the installment becomes due, you will credit interest in the hire vendor's account and will make the payment of the installment at the end of each year as to bank in the debit side. Therefore, from the second year onwards or from the subsequent years, just two entries are to be passed. One in the credit side as by interest, another in the debit side as to bank, that is the amount paid for the installment, which includes cash price and interest. Until the last installment has been paid, this amount will continue. The entries would continue in the same manner until the hire vendor accounts get closed. How simple is it, isn't it? So let us move further and understand that what are the other accounts to be maintained in the books of hire purchaser. Now, as I told earlier, that two more accounts are to be prepared. One, interest account, another depreciation account, and both are expenses account. Therefore, let us understand interest account first of all. Well, every time you were making the installment due, we were debiting the interest account with the name of hire vendor, that is interest account debited to hire vendor, right? So every time the installment becomes due, the interest account would be debited. That is, at the end of the year, when the interest gets accrued, you will be debiting the interest account being an expense. increase in expense is always debited. And at the end of the year, all the nominal accounts are to be transferred to the profit and loss account. The same we did while passing the journal entry, and the same we would do while ledger posting. So the balance of the interest account would then be transferred to the profit and loss account at the end of the year. The same procedure would be followed for the depreciation account as well. That is, the depreciation would be charged in the debit side of the depreciation as to asset, and the amount of depreciation would be transferred to the profit and loss account at the end of the year. Now, the good news is these two accounts are to be prepared in the same manner, whether it is asset accrual method or credit purchase method. There is no change being the change in the method of asset. Now, moving further, let us understand the accounting entries in the books of hire vendor, the seller that is. Now, since he is a seller, definitely he will be recording the entire sales in his books of account on the very first day, that is on the date of agreement, because he is giving the possession and the right to use to the purchaser. So, with the entire amount of cash price, he will be recording the entry in his books of accounts on the date of agreement itself or on the date of purchase itself. So, let us understand all the accounting entries in sequence in the books of vendor. So, as I told, the vendor would be recording the very first entry of sale. Now, since this is a credit sale, purchaser stands as a debtor in the books of the vendor. The debtor will be debited as increase in debtor, and sales being a revenue will be recorded as a credit amount. Therefore, the entry would be hire purchaser account debited to hire sales. What shall be the amount now? Yes, the entire amount of cash price of the asset. Now, these assets, remember, are the goods for the vendor. Alright. So, there will be no mention of asset account in the books of hire vendor. Many a times the students would commit this mistake, as since it is recorded as asset account debited in the books of purchaser, sometimes they may wrongly write it as asset account credited in the books of vendor. So, never ever get confused between the sale of goods and sale of asset. For vendor, these are goods meant for sale. Therefore, it will be recorded as hire sales and not assets. So, the first entry is simply debtors account debited to sales, or here it will be termed in a different manner, that is hire purchaser account debited to hire sales with the entire amount of cash price of that particular goods. Now, the next entry would be at the end of the year when the installment becomes due. Now, when the installment becomes due, the vendor would be expecting some interest. Yes, the same interest which the purchaser has debited in his books of account as an expense, the same interest is income for the vendor, and therefore it will be credited in the books of vendor. And who will be paying this interest amount? Of course, the purchaser. So, the vendor will be debiting the hire purchaser simply as a debtor, the person from whom some amount is to be recovered. Therefore, for the entry of interest becoming due, this hire purchaser account debited to interest. Now, once this interest also becomes due, he will receive the payment. The vendor will receive the payment from the purchaser. Therefore, for the receipt of installment, the entry would be bank account debited to hire purchaser. It is as simple as that. Now, since the interest account has been opened in the books of vendor, which is an income, and all the nominal nature accounts are to be transferred to the profit and loss account. Yes, you're right. So, the next entry would be interest account debited to profit and loss account. Yes, profit and loss account will be credited with the amount of interest being an income for the vendor. Now onwards, with whatever amount of interest becoming due, receiving of installment amount, and the transfer of interest to the profit and loss account. That is, the three entries will be passed every subsequent years in the books of vendor. If any down payment has been received from the purchaser, then simply the entry would be passed soon after he has recorded the sale entry, that is hire purchaser account debited to hire sales. If any down payment has been received, the simple entry would be bank account debited to hire purchaser. Debit what comes in, credit the giver. So, I hope the 5 sequential entries are absolutely clear to all of you. Number 1, to record the sale transaction, that is hire purchaser account debited to hire sales. Number 2, if any down payment has been made, bank account will be debited, being receipt of down payment, and hire purchaser will be credited. So, bank account debited to hire purchaser, the second entry. Third entry is the interest becoming due, which will be hire purchaser account debited to interest. Fourth entry for receiving the amount of installment, that is bank account debited to hire purchaser. And last entry, fifth entry, that is transfer of interest to profit and loss account, which will be interest account debited to profit and loss account. So, the last three entry would be repeated every subsequent years until the last installment has been received by the vendor. Now, let us understand the ledger entries or the ledger postings in the books of hire vendor. Before we move to the ledger account, let me remind you that since a sale, hire sale has been recorded in the books of the vendor, this must be transferred to the trading account. So, to close the hire sales account, one more entry at the end of the very first year would be passed by the hire vendor as hire sales account debited to trading account. Alright. So, let us understand that how many ledger accounts are necessary to be shown in the books of the vendor. Well, the very first account to be shown in the books of vendor is the hire purchasers account, right? Because he needs to know that how much of amount is to be recovered or to be received from his debtor, which he will be recording in his books as hire purchaser. And the second is the interest amount. Yes, because this is the only reward he is expecting out of this hire sales. So, the two necessary accounts to be prepared in the books of hire vendor are hire purchaser and interest account. So, let us see how these two accounts are prepared. Right. Now, this is very simple to understand, as you already have understood that how the hire vendor account is prepared in the books of purchaser. It is just the opposite of vendor's account prepared in the books of purchaser. In the same way, the vendor records the account of hire purchaser in his own books of accounts. Now, since the purchaser is a debtor, an asset for the vendor, therefore, the account of hire purchaser would be debited first. So, at the time of sale, that is the date of agreement, the entry passed was hire purchaser account debited to hire sales. Therefore, in the purchaser account, in the debit side, you would make the posting of the same entry as to hire sales with the entire full cash price of the asset, alright, full cash price of the asset. And if any down payment has been made immediately by the purchaser to the vendor, so the vendor would record this in the credit side of the purchaser account as by bank, an immediate payment. Now, with the amount of interest, the purchaser will be debited again at the end of the year when the installment becomes due. So, at the end of the year, as soon as the installment becomes due, the interest will be recorded in the purchaser's account in the debit side as to interest. Now, since the installment has become due, the vendor would be receiving the first installment at the end of the year along with interest. So, for the receipt of first installment, that is the cash price of the installment and the amount of interest included in the first installment would be recorded in the credit side of the purchaser account as by bank. The remaining amount will be carried down as by balance carry down and will be brought down to the next year as the opening balance of hire purchaser. Now, this is the outstanding amount on the name of hire purchaser, which is to be recovered from him in the subsequent years. So, as and when the installment becomes due, you will be debiting hire purchaser account with interest as to interest, and the amount of installment will be credited in his account as by bank. And until the last installment has been paid, this entries or these postings would continue in the hire purchaser account. So, that means from the second year onwards, that is from the subsequent years, the two entries, the two postings, important postings which are to be remembered are to interest and to bank. To interest with the amount of interest included in the installments, and by bank with the entire amount of installment. Keep on finding the balance, the closing balance, and keep on bringing down the opening balance till the last installment has been paid and the account gets closed. Move to the next account, that is interest account. Now, interest, since is an income for the vendor, it will be recorded in the credit side as by hire purchaser. Alright. So, every time interest becomes due, you will be recording in interest account in the credit side as by hire purchaser, and since it is an income, it will be transferred to the profit and loss account in the debit side and will be recorded as to profit and loss account. So, just two important accounts, hire purchaser and interest account. Mind it, depreciation cannot be charged in the books of hire vendor on these because these are goods for the hire vendor, and depreciation is not charged on the current assets. These are stock for the vendor. Therefore, there will be no account of depreciation in the books of vendor, whereas it will be prepared in the books of the hire purchaser. I hope this is absolutely clear. 4 accounts in the books of purchaser, just 2 accounts in the books of hire vendor. Well, my dear children, once all these accounting entries and ledger postings are absolutely clear to all of you, we come to the actual scene, and that is the calculation of cash price or the hire purchase price. Well, in many of the situations or according to the problems provided to you, sometimes the hire purchase price would be provided and you would be required to calculate the cash price, or the opposite, cash price would be provided to you and you will be asked to calculate hire purchase price. In the very beginning of the part 1 of my video, I had already explained you the various ways of calculating hire purchase price. And now we will be doing it in a very analytical manner by preparing a simple tabular working note. So let us understand this working note one by one. Alright, for the ease of understanding, let us prepare this particular 6-columnar table. Now this 6-columnar table, I am telling you, is going to help you in all sort of question whatsoever given in this particular chapter and also in the next chapter as well, that is installment payment system. So please try to understand and concentrate how to prepare this particular table as a working note to either calculate cash price or to calculate hire purchase price of each installment and what amount is to be calculated for each installment, whether being for journal entries or maybe for the preparation of ledger accounts. Alright. So, the very first column to be prepared is of details. That is where you will record the amount outstanding and as and when the installments have been paid. So, all the details you will be recording in the very first column, that is detail, it is sort of particular column. Now, the next column you will be recording is cash price outstanding. This is the most important column to be understood. Why? Because the interest is always calculated on the cash price outstanding. I hope you remember I told you the cash price is nothing but the cost price and the profit. That is cost price for the purchaser plus the profit amount. So, interest is always calculated on this cash price outstanding, the unpaid amount of cash price. Alright. So, this column is the most important column for the valuation of interest. So, the very next column is nothing but the calculation of interest. Why? Because once you have understood that how much of cash price is to be paid to the vendor, the outstanding amount of cash price, on that particular balance you will be calculating interest for the next installment. Alright. So, now the next column is a consolidated column, that is of installment, which is divided in 3 parts. Alright. The 3 parts, out of these 3 parts, 2 are cash price and interest, and the last part is the total amount of installment, total amount of each installment. Now, remember, if you make an aggregate of each installment, you will get the hire purchase price. Alright. Why? Because each installment contains the cash price as well as interest, which are given in the just adjacent 2 previous columns, the cash price column and the interest column. So, if the amount of installments are given to you in the question, you will deduct interest to find cash price. If the cash price is given to you in the question, you will add interest to get the amount of installment. Alright. Very simple to understand. So, vice versa, the same table can be used to calculate either of the amount, whether the cash price or the installment total amount. Fine. So, the 6 columns to be prepared are number 1, the details, number 2, cash price outstanding, number 3, the amount of interest to be calculated in this particular 3rd column, the most important column, because valuation of interest depends on the outstanding amount, the period of the interest, that is, alright. And sometimes installments are paid quite frequently. It can be 6 monthly or it can be quarterly as well. So at that point of time, the period of installment plays a very important role. Alright. So if it is 6 monthly, the interest is to be charged for 6 months, therefore it will be 6 by 12. So what shall be the amount on which the interest is to be charged? What is the rate of interest, and what is the time period of the interest to be charged on the outstanding amount matters a lot to find the installment amount. The next 3 columns are of installments divided in 3 parts, that is cash price, interest and the total amount of installment. Once you add the entire interest amount calculated installment wise in this particular table, you will get the total of interest charged in the hire purchase system. Once you add the entire amount of cash price, you will get the total amount of cash price of that particular asset which the purchaser has purchased. And if you aggregate the entire amount of installments, that is each installment when added together will give you the total of hire purchase price. We will understand it with the help of a question. Alright dear children, to understand this analytical table in a better manner, we will be solving a question in our next video. So please wait and watch the third part of the video. Till then, keep safe, keep healthy.